Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy E-Buck in the building. This is a special edition of Big Buck Sports Report. Tonight, sorry, there will be no I Am Nighthawk podcast, at least not on a video version. I will do an audio version of the podcast and post it for you guys later on in the evening or early tomorrow. But in the meanwhile, me and my good partner in crime, the Guru, did a little NBA edition of the Big Buck Sports Report where we give you our takes on the upcoming season, who we think gonna do what. So we're going to play that for you guys this evening. Hopefully you enjoy it. I hope you are having a good week and continue to do so. Without further ado, we give you that report. What's going on, folks? It's your boy E-Buck the Nighthawk and your man Hugh Lee. We are here to give you a special edition of Big Buck Sports Report, our NBA preview edition. As you know, the season starts tomorrow. That is tomorrow, October 24th, and we are ready for it. Should be a very good and interesting NBA season. As you see throughout our preview, we feel like most teams actually have a chance to at least make the playoffs. There are a few exceptions, and we're going to start out with them first. I got to let Hugh introduce himself to the people. What up, Hugh?
Hey, and just was kind of glancing through the NBA hoops rumor page too. It ain't really too much going on, not too much crazy stuff to make you jump out your seat. I kind of figured that Draymond, after he got hurt, that he wouldn't be playing, the season opener. But I think the Sixers had finally got tired of Montrezl Harrell, man, and they waived him before tomorrow's games or the start of the season.
That being said, he will be on somebody's squad by the end of the week. He is too good a defender and rebounder for him not to fit somewhere. So we'll start off with that. But that being said, there's certain teams, whether Harold or whoever else go to that team, they just not going to get too much done. So we're going to start the preview off with that. We're going to basically work out the kinks and then get you to the playoff teams. We, of course, going to talk to some of your favorite players. And in the end, we're going to give you our predictions to who we think will at least make it to the finals. I don't have no clear-cut winner myself. Maybe the Guru does. We will see. But, okay, let's keep it honest. We got the Eastern Conference, the Western Conference. Pretty much everybody in the Western Conference, for the most part, is in play. So we won't even go there yet. We'll start out with the East, where it's a few of these teams, they just going to get that participation trophy, okay? They're not really going to do much this year, and we know it. I'm going to start that out with, of course, the team I think going to be the worst team in the league yet again, my Detroit Pistons. Your thoughts, Hugh? Hugh, are you there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, Detroit Pistons, your thoughts. Are they going to be the worst team in the league or not?
They're going to be on the bottom of the totem pole. I say if they're not the worst, they're going to be in that top 5.
Yeah, it's definitely looking like another lottery year for us. Again, you can't really tell much about preseason because they pretty much do preseason like they do NFL preseason. But based on what I saw, yeah, we'll have more scoring this year with the Pistons, assuming that Cade Cunningham can stay healthy for a full season. But all things being said, I think that lack of defense will come into play. The lack of quality big men will come into play. I think while trading deadline, people should be dealt, if not before. I think basically you got the new coach, and he's going to get a few years to kind of work his magic over there. So if we win more than 20 games, I'd be stunned. Worst case scenario, they may somehow figure out a way to get into the playoff through the play-in game. I doubt it. Another team I think ain't going to do much this year, Charlotte Hornets. Do you agree, Hugh?
I feel like, unfortunately, at one point I had hope in that team, and I thought that they'd do okay, but it just seems like it's not clicking there. Something's not right there. LaMelo, He plays well, but he's not healthy, and I just don't think they have enough. My Bridges, I like him, but it's not really enough that it convinced me that they can make it to the playoffs. And when they did go to the playoffs that one season, they were one and done really fast. So I don't see them making that playoff run no time soon in the next 3 years.
Yeah, basically, they got good players on that team. They got Hayward, they got Scary Terry and whatnot. But they'll be nice when they have a good game, beat somebody they ain't got no business beating. But again, I can't see them winning more than 25, 30 games. It's the reason why Jordan just went ahead and sold the team. It ain't much going on with it. Another team in the East we got to talk about, probably not going to be in the mix. Atlanta, the Hawks. I'm really surprised that they did not trade your boy this offseason because Trae Young, good player, not great leader, and I really feel like he's not even the best point guard on that team. I do think D Young is the better point guard, and I think they're going to pretty much make it his squad. And at some point, I think Trae Young is going to be traded. What's your thoughts?
He might be traded, but I still see it. Like I don't agree as far as Atlanta not making it to the playoffs. They might be one of those play-in type teams, but I don't see them going anywhere past that round. I don't see them doing anything afterwards, and it's basically a waste of time even going through all that. But I definitely feel like they have the potential. But that being said, I'm not saying they're gonna make it though, due to the fact that I feel like one of the things that they did that didn't suit them was to let John Collins walk and go to Utah. So yeah, that's going to help. That's not going to help them at all. So yeah, I say if they do go, I see them making it in a play-in round, but that's probably as far as they'll get.
The only reason I can potentially sort of see that is because the East is very not great this year. Another team that's probably going to mill around but not do much, Indiana Pacers. They got some excellent guard play on that team when you look at Halliburton and the other guy, McKeith. But beyond the realm of that, it's bits and pieces on that team, but just not enough to win on a consistent basis. Would you agree, Hugh?
Yeah, because Miles Turner and like guys of that nature, they're okay and they'll win you some games, but I don't think it'll be enough for them to make it into the playoffs. And like you said, the East is so bad, there's a possibility one of them teams might slip up and end up in like a seventh or eighth seed.
Right. Now, see, now we're going to bring up a couple of teams, and I'm just kind of interested to see what their season look like. Got to talk about the Washington Wizards, man. As you know, the man with the master plan over there now will be the young man that they traded from the Golden State Warriors. That dude that we know to be the distraction of the year last year when we talk about that whole thing with him and Draymond. But Jordan Poole is now with the Wizards. Him and Kyle Kuzma, they're going to try to join and see what they can get done. They'll be better than the teams that we mentioned before them, Andrew. But still, I think, it really depends. I think Jordan and Kuzma probably be top 20 in the league in scoring because they really don't have no other firepower on that team to speak of. What you think, Hugh?
I would be surprised to see them make it to the playoffs, but like I said, the East is really bad. They could slip into the playoffs for sure, like at a seventh or eighth seed on that level, because I think you're going to get at least two teams that's not going to be over 500 in the East that makes it to the playoffs. And
Right.
that can be one of them. The Washington Wizards, like you said, they don't really have a lot. But then when you got Kyle Kuzma and you have a Jordan Poole, I feel like that can be enough firepower for them to get things started there. And like I said, like Indiana would be one of them teams in Atlanta be fighting for those last, like jockeying for the last 6, 7, and 8 spot.
Well, basically, I got to talk about a couple teams I think going to be around that. Also, we got to talk about the Brooklyn Nets. I think they're going to surprise a few people this year. I really think if they continue to gel like they did the end of last year, they got some very good defenders on that team. You got to like Mikal Bridges. That dude's a baller, okay? I could definitely see him winning most improved player this year. I could see him averaging 25, 30 points a game. I definitely like the the former Piston on that squad. It basically former Pistons on every squad, pretty much. But I think a key for them is what, if anything, they get out your boy Ben Simmons. What's your thoughts on him and Brooklyn in general, Hugh?
I don't think they're going to get much. It's going to be the same basis as it has been ever since he said his back's been bothering him. Take it from me, I know how bad back injuries are and how they could be. But some of that, man, I just feel like him just not really having a passion for the game, too, on top of the back injury. So that makes it even worse. Like I said, I cannot, look at another person and judge their back or lash at them because of their back, because some people probably wouldn't think that I'm in the shape that I'm in, But at the same time, man, if you don't have a passion or if you feel like you can't body-wise hold up and play a full physical NBA season, and why even be in the NBA? I just feel like his passion is gone, and I don't really see much. I would be surprised. Make me a believer. But until he do that, I don't think he's going to be effective at doing anything like he did the previous couple of years.
Okay, so 2 questions before we move on. Ben Simmons, how many games this year he plays out of the 82? And 2, should Brooklyn just go ahead and work on a buyout with him and send him on his way?
I definitely feel like he'll play 20 to 25 games, no more than 30. And yeah, he should definitely be going out of Brooklyn, because I feel like he wasted their time last year, and he basically got over. If you ever seen getting over in the dictionary, his name would definitely be in there, Ben Simmons, because all the money that he robbed from that organization. So I definitely felt like he was going to be better. I thought he was going to come over there and try to prove the 76ers wrong. But yeah, man, I feel like the 76ers was right. And just saying another bad thing or another failure that came out of Brooklyn. Not Brooklyn, but Philadelphia. And we'll talk about a lot more of them too.
Oh, yeah, we definitely would get to them. But yeah, bottom line, I want to see what he do these first 10 games. I myself say we get about 40 games out of Ben. And yes, I also agree they definitely should work on some type of buyout if we're not getting no serious production out of him. That being said, if they do that, he will end up on somebody's squad. Hopefully, he'll just be a piece as opposed to somebody they desperately need to perform. Okay, so again, we are in the East, where we're pretty much trying to figure out who's going to make it. Things get a lot more interesting when we get to the West, by the way. Everybody in the West has interesting things that you want to look at. But back to the East here, let's have a little discussion about the Toronto Raptors. Now, granted, they had the best record in the postseason. They actually went undefeated in the postseason. That being said, they actually played most of their people in the postseason as opposed to the other teams. There are good pieces on that Toronto team, but honestly, I think they should consider starting over. They got some pieces where I think you could get some very good trade capital with them, like Siaka, obviously, and of course Van Vliet. Those 2 in particular, and then of course Scotty Barnes even would be a good trade if they could make it. Because I don't see them going far this year. Again, there'll be a team that'll win some games you figure they won't or shouldn't win. But all in all, 25, 30 wins, I think that's the limit for them. What about you, Hugh?
That's definitely a situation with them. Actually, only person I know on that team right now is Pascal Siakam, because don't forget Fred VanVleet went over to the Houston Rockets this year.
And see, even more so. And I did forget that. You're right, Hugh. So, yeah, they don't have much left to trade at all at this point then. So, even further reason to believe they're only going to go so far. Next on the docket, now here's a team that you're going to have to consider as far as the worst. I'm sorry that I even passed them up. But, yeah, the Chicago Bulls, a franchise that is far from the glory that it was in the 90s. Your thoughts on them, Hugh?
I don't really see too much, man. It's bad because they had a lot of potential, but Lonzo Ball, man, they saying he might not come back for another year or so.
if at
It's
all.
looking like with that, I feel like the New Orleans got the best out of that, man, because when he basically was bluffing and saying, well, I know I could find more money elsewhere. And then Chicago ended up signing him to that lucrative deal. But I just don't see it, man. They have some good pieces too, but I think more or less that they would trade some of the guys over there versus doing anything because like I said, man, with them, they're to the point where I think that they'll be probably better off rebuilding than any other team. Like DeRozan, I would get rid of him. Lonzo Ball, I don't know when he'll be back. I still feel like that team is just on the cusp. And then what's my man's name? Zach. He been having issues too over there,
Come
man.
on, Mr.
I know
Levine. Yeah.
Zach, they basically was questioning his passion to play for them, and it was a lot of issues from that point. So I was really surprised that he was still over there. So yeah, I don't think they're going far, but I think that they'll make a little noise, but I still feel like they're going to be sellers versus buyers in the trade deadline.
I most definitely would invest in getting rid of Zach LaVine if I was the Bulls. I think for a squad, he could basically serve the same purpose that Aaron Gordon served for the Nuggets last year if he gets on the right squad. And as far as DeMar DeRozan, I don't think he should have ever signed with the Bulls to begin with. Clearly, we all know the story about what was supposed to happen with the Lakers, but at the last minute, the whole Westbrook thing came into play. I feel like it's so bad that he's stuck there because he's basically wasting his prime in a place where it's only so much he could do. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a long season for Chicago as well. Okay, now let's talk about some teams that may actually do a little something. A team that I'm very curious to see what their year look like is the Orlando Magic. Talk about them for a minute, Hugh.
Orlando got a lot of good young pieces over there, man, and
Agreed.
Foles really started to step up, it seems. But I'm curious because they did better, way better than I expected. And we were looking at them like they were a rebuilding team. But now I'm looking at them like, man, they might be able to compete. That's another team that might trick you this year and be able to barely crawl into the playoffs or the playing games. But yeah, man, they got a lot of talent over there, and I was really surprised because for them to pick up so fast, I didn't think that they were going to do as good and adjust to the game like they did. But yeah, when you say surprise, I think I was more surprised with them and how well they played, even though they didn't make the playoffs, more than any other team. It was like more or less because I thought they was going to be the worst team in the league, but they went from being one of the worst that I thought to barely like crawling and not making it into the playoffs.
I said it's several players on that team I really like, especially since they all the particular age and they all growing together. They kind of remind you the early version of Sacramento, of course, we'll talk about later. You gotta like Panachero. He had a pretty decent rookie season. I love the Wagner brothers. I love them Wagner brothers, man. They gritty. They play good defense. They actually shoot. Now I'm hoping that they definitely made some improvements over the summer. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing them on the court. Like I said, Fultz is basically shaking all that early history that he had in Philly and whatnot. He's actually becoming a pretty decent player. I wouldn't be surprised if he somehow ends up winning the most improved player. I can see that happen. But yeah, I think at least when you watch Orlando, you're gonna get some quality grit, and you're gonna get some, a team that you actually gonna want to watch from night to night, no matter who they playing. Now, going back to the East, now we're gonna start talking about some of the contenders. I'm hard pressed to see any way, shape, or form that the Miami Heat, as they are currently constructed, make it to the finals this year. We know I think they lucked up into the finals last year, to be honest. Now, granted, they got Himothy, as I like to call him, your boy Butler, but beyond him, and of course, everybody's favorite hero, It's gonna be rough for them this year, I think. I mean, yeah, you got Bam Adebayo. I think you still got the old man, Mr. Kyle over there. We call him Mr. Kyle because he's been in the NBA forever, Kyle Lowry. But beyond that, that bench is softer now. They let too many of those people get away, and they ain't replaced them with too much quality. So, yeah, I see them making the playoffs, but I don't see them getting far. What do you think, you?
I think they wasted most of their time trying to get Damian Lillard to go over there, and they were certainly letting pieces slip away, trying
Absolutely.
to see if they can pull and get him, and that didn't work out. At the last minute, I thought that yeah, man, he'll go over there before the season, but then they basically always do this. It was basically one of those mystery teams that came and played, and you heard the back and forth love that him and Giannis had with each other, and him and Giannis always talked about, man, if you had somebody to come on your team to win the championship, who would it be? Giannis said Damian Lillard, and they asked Damian Lillard what he was in Portland, and he said the same thing. And they seen that love, and then they was like, "Hey, man, we're gonna try to make it a match and see what we can get out of the the Milwaukee organization." And that's what they did. And now, man, it's just like Miami's in limbo. You let too many people roll out. Like you said, they still got Kyle Bell out of bio. And then you have, my man's Jimmy Buckets. But I still don't think they have enough over there, man. I feel like they do a good job of what they have and the next man up. But still, you still got like a Tyler Hero. And I heard that he got a little salty that he didn't get involved in one of the deals, But at the end of the day, it's still like, they'll have enough to make it to the playoffs in a weak Eastern Conference, but I don't feel like they'll go nowhere as near as far as they did last year because they was definitely playing with the house money.
Right. Keep in mind, I do feel like they have one of the better coaches in the NBA. Spoelstra does not get enough credit for what he does for that organization. And of course, they have one of the best GMs of all time. We talk about Pat Riley. But
Brother.
Miami sells itself in terms of, you want to go there. Remember, Florida, no state sales tax. South Beach, ain't nothing like it. But all in all, the better players, they pretty much locked up. And it's too much money invested in them to try to pull them that way. So outside of some major 3-4-way trade that we don't see, I think Miami is what they is. They're pretty much sneaking in the playoffs. They hope that, like last year, quality people end up getting injured, and at that point they see what can make happen. But no, I don't see them getting beyond that. Okay, another team. Again, I think they'll make the playoffs this year. That would be the New York Knicks. I like some of the components they have. That bench is suspect.
The camera isn't responding.
That bench is suspect, but New York is what they are. I mean, they need a trade. Bottom line, they need somebody to come over there and add to what they got. Outside of that, I see them being a 7th, 8th playoff seed and maybe getting to that first round and not much after that. What about you, Hugh?
They surprised me last year. I thought that they was going to be okay, but they were leaps and bounds ahead of what I thought. And getting Braylon over there and to have all the pieces already, you got Randolph, and it's just more than what I thought. Randall. I love Julius Randle, and I feel like too, like when we talk about and we say players have wasted their times with teams, I feel like he wasted a lot of his time with the Knicks. Be upset with me if you're a Knicks fan, but I think he could do so much more with another team. So yeah, Julius Randle, I definitely hope that he can go somewhere and be in this trade deadline. I'm definitely looking at it like, man, maybe New York might not do as good as people thought they were, and then they'll be sellers, but I know that's a pipe dream because I definitely feel like they have enough over there to make the playoffs. But I still feel like it needs to be pieces added because you seen last year, man. I just didn't feel like they had enough drive neither. I still question their passion after what Randall said last year. Maybe they wanted more than us. That'll never be out of my head. That's always going to be in here. But I definitely feel like they need somebody with more moxie to put over there too. I thought that would have been a good spot for Marcus Smart at first, man, because they need somebody over there who can have some type of guts or grit to help that team. But I don't think that they will have enough. But they are pretty excited to watch during the regular season. But regular season don't get you to the point to where you can win that trophy.
Brunson, he a baller, no doubt about it. And Randall is a good player. He has some nights where he'll throw up some numbers. RJ Barrett, some nights he kind of takes over a game. We forget how good RJ Barrett was projected to be coming out of the place known as Duke. But it's just not enough going on. Like I said, they got good components there. They just don't gel well enough to make it to where we need them to go. Okay, this of course leaves us a few teams. These are the teams that more likely will make it to the finals here in the East. First of all, got to talk about Cleveland. I'm really, really looking forward to seeing how Cleveland plays this year. They got some of the better players in the league when you consider that you have the man that they picked up from Utah. He has very much ingratiated himself to Cleveland. They are very much loving that dude. They are talking about signing him to the max extension and all of that. It's up to him. And then, of course, you got the guard play that's going on there. You got the big man that they drafted a few years ago that's definitely playing better than Cade Cunningham. It makes you think maybe we should have got him instead. But I like the bench over there at Cleveland. They got a couple good people. And don't forget about your boy, Caris LeVert. He is very underrated in terms of his play because some nights he can come in and dominate a game at times. I really like a lot of what goes on there in Cleveland. They're a good defensive team as well. I definitely see them being in that top 4 in the East yet again this year. What about you, Hugh?
I see they could definitely slip into the top 3, man. And that's when I start to scratch my head and think about what the hell was the Brooklyn Nets was doing at the point when you see how good Jarrett Allen is as a defender and as a rim protector. And then they low-key got Imani Bates, man, which I've been hearing rumors that they've been talking about in the preseason that was a steal for that team. You already know what Darius Garland going to do, but Damian Jones was like a surprise too, me last year. I didn't think he was going to do that well. And then, you got the spider over there. But yeah, man, starting to make me question too, because I think that we've had in the Detroit Pistons organization too many point guards and, shooting guards in the first place, like you said, man. And then, you got Mobley over there acting the clown, man. And I'm just very disappointed because I feel like we needed more of a big man play than we did any more guards. I mean, Lord forbid, how many guards do we need?
Right. And like I said, our big men, they may be big in height, but in terms of playing a big man role, not so much. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing Cleveland play this year. Another team definitely will be talked about in terms of where they're going is, of course, the Boston Celtics.
I look at the Celtics, man, and the one thing I didn't like about what they did was the fact that they let Robert Williams go. But then at the same time, that dude couldn't stay healthy. And in vital moments of the playoffs, he wasn't there, man. And that's one of the reasons why I felt like they didn't get as far as they could have, But I do like some of the players over there, though. I mean, you can never go wrong with Jaylen Brown. And Al Horford, I think they should have been trying to get somebody or see if they could have, end up getting another person as far as depth, as being a big man. Kristaps, if he can stay healthy, man, which I've been seeing him in the preseason, and he looked like how he did in New York, and he coming out swinging. But how healthy would that man be? And he played low-key real good for the Wizards. Mm-hmm. But they're going to be as good as my man Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown make them be. But at the same time, man, big up to Derek White. That's some good depth on the bench. But damn, for them to get Drew Holiday, man, you basically got a guy in Drew Holiday who's a better shooter than Marcus Smart and just as good as a defender. So, because at first I was scratching my head like, you guys got rid of all the, grit on your team. What are you thinking about? They just let him walk. But when they ended up getting my man's Drew Holiday, I said, you know what? I can't even be mad because they got the best of both worlds now. And they finally got that point guard that they needed. And now the team can get out of their own way. You got a guard now. You got people who can play the 2 and the 3. They can play their proper positions now, man. So that's where I'm looking at it. It's going to be interesting. I think that they'll definitely be in a situation where they'll be in a conference finals, but do I think that they'll have enough to go to like the championship? We'll just have to wait and see, because when you think that they're going to do good, a lot of times Boston, when it comes to the clutch play, they always shoot themselves in the foot and make bad mistakes. You've seen how crazy the turnovers was last year with them, man, and at the wrong time. But yeah, they always had the potentials to be in, in the NBA finals. But yeah, I'm just really curious to see what happened, because with the Kristaps Porzingis ordeal, how far would they go? Because now you say you got a true center, but how is that going to help your team if he can't stay healthy? That's one of the main things I'm questioning, is their depth right now. But other than that, it's going to be interesting to see how well they play this season.
I think they should be better defensively when you look at all the parts all together. I kind of hate they had to give up Brogdon and all of that, because it really been nice if Holiday and him could play off each other in terms of, okay, he comes out, he comes in, or even at times where you could put that rotation on the floor with those two, along with Brown and Tatum. Tatum is looking for that big max deal like his boy got. This is the year you got to show that you are him. I'm him. If he can play like that on an MVP type level, along with everybody else doing their part, then yeah, not only do I see Boston making the playoffs, I see them coming out in the finals. As a matter of fact, I think I will give you an early spoiler. They are my pick in the East to go to the finals this year, because I think they got enough there to where on a night-to-night basis, even if somebody's having an off night, it's enough scorers on that squad now to where they should work out most games. I can see them winning 50 games easy with the squad they have now. I am concerned about the bench once you get past 7 and 8, but beyond the realm of that, I think we got a very good Boston. I think this may be the best Boston squad that they have put together in these last few years. And of course, I am concerned about their coaching as well. That's another story. But okay, the other key contenders, of course, we'll just throw in the mix. We know it comes down to either Boston. Then, of course, we got Philly, Milwaukee. Take your pick as to who you want to talk about first. Go from there.
We could definitely go with Philly, because just the turmoil and the things that's going on there. I'm trying to figure out where, first and foremost, where James Harden's head is at. I don't think that they'll be able to depend on him, because he's like a child or a spoiled woman. Once he don't get his way, he wants out. And I feel like with him, it's too big of a distraction right now. I'd rather have him not on the team than have him on the team. And just when it comes to clutch moments, it seems like he don't be there. He will give up on you. Like when they played Boston, he had games where the 2 games that he played well, they won. But when he plays bad, man. And I've seen it where in like the 4th quarter, man, he only put up like 5 points within a whole series. And I just don't think he's clutch or go-to like that. But you want to get mad and force your way out of an organization. Yeah, man, I think they can do well without him. But I still feel like at that point, you're going to have your good and bad with Patrick Beverly, but at least he get him a little more grit than, Joel Embiid going to be Joel Embiid. And one thing that surprised me, too, was the Danny Green pickup. Wasn't really bad as far as perimeter shooting and get him 3-point shooting. And with Tobias Harris, I'm still questioning that, man. Like, damn, does he fit on that team? Will he be better off going somewhere and being traded to where he'll go and to where he could produce? Because people hate him just to hate him, man. With the Philly, like if he give you a big night, man, you won't be satisfied. Well, how come you can't do that on the regular? But when he have just an average night and they think that he should do better, then they all talking about trading him. I remember he was saying something about Philly fans to trade me for what's them crumbler cookies. I thought that was funny, but yeah, man, I just feel like with some of the Philly trades that I just don't feel like he fit in. But low key, one of the good things that they did though, over there that's really gonna help them and energize that team is Kelly Oubre, man. That was a good pickup for them too, man. I think they're going to definitely be pretty good this year, and I do like Maxey too. But yeah, I think that they'll be in a conversation, but I still don't feel like they might have enough over there, man.
And don't forget, they did add a little grit. They added a little grit on that squad. Remember, they got Patrick Bev on that squad too now.
I mentioned Patrick Bev.
Him being how that play out with them.
That definitely is going to help them out, man, because he's one of the people everybody say that you love him when he's on your team, but you hate him when you got to play against him, man. That was a really good pickup.
Right.
So, yeah,
because,
man.
Remember, you got to keep Embiid happy over there right now, and if things start to go awry early on, I'm sure the grumblings will come. And Lord knows you do not want to get to a situation where Embiid's talking about he don't want to be in Philly no more. That's the last thing they should want in Philadelphia. Embiid deserves to be there until he can no longer play and be right up there in the Raptors with Dr. J and Iverson, flat out. So they definitely need to find a way to gel. And again, if early on Hart is going to be a distraction, I agree with you. They got to get rid of him for a bag of chips and 20 beans or whatever it takes, whether it's to the Clippers or wherever they got to get rid of them to make it happen.
Eventually, when he go to LA Clippers, something to make him pissed off because you already had so many Hall of Fame players on your team to not have a championship and you're still not happy. So yeah, we could move on for that because that guy basically definitely despicable to me.
I mean, to be that talented and have that many points scored and all that, and not only has he not won a championship, he ain't even made it to a finals yet, okay? That part. But yeah, then of course, we got to talk about the other team that a lot of people probably picked to win the East, the battle with the merging of the superpowers when you got young Giannis and of course the great Dame Dollar. What's your thoughts on Milwaukee, Hugh?
That was a huge pickup for them. I mean, I know it hurt them to lose Drew Holiday, but then I love it too because there's going to be so much passion when those teams play because we all feel like at one point, if a team get rid of you, then how come you didn't want me? That people feel that way, man. And you'll feel some type of way like you got rid of me to get this guy. So I think it's going to be a lot of competition there, and I think that Drew Holiday going to try to prove his worth. But, man, when you get a Dame Dollar opportunity, man, you can't pass up on it. And he's still prime Dame, too. It ain't like you getting a Dame where he might got a couple of years left. You got Dame time where he's still timing it, So, yeah, I feel like I probably would have did the same thing, too, E. But then you still got my man Jay Crowder, who's a good perimeter shooter. Brook Lopez and his brother over there, so that's a lot more depth. I mean, come on now, y'all really needed that much more height on the team. But then you can always remember two former Pistons player, man, who making it happen, Chris Middleton, and then a lot looked up to and forgot Cameron Payne went over there, man. Dude used to play with Phoenix, man. He gonna be a pretty nice piece, man. A lot of people slipped on that right there, but I definitely feel like that team's gonna always be in that conversation. I'm looking at it like, and no disrespect to Philly, man, because I still feel like they did bring in a couple of good key assets, but everybody's looking at it right now, and they're looking at Boston when they end up getting Porzingis, and then you get Holiday. And then you turn around with just them basically. Cameron Payne was just like the icing on the cake. But when you got Dame over there, you ain't really had to do much more because you already had like a Chris Middleton and Brooke Lopez. Now you got Robin and Crowder, man. It's just like, and then people slip on my man's too, Bobby Portis, man. He the little engine that could over there. And that's all
Absolutely.
the height over there. How can teams compete? That's going to be a problem.
Right. I mean, you see, they got rid of Grayson. That I mean, there's so much to work with that you didn't really
Yeah,
need him anymore. So, yeah, definitely, like I said,
unfortunately.
I think it boils down in the East to that very stat Milwaukee team or Boston. One of those teams should more than likely make it to the final. Okay, now take a breath, Hugh. Time to talk about the West. As you know, the last several years, the West has been much better than the East overall. It is definitely a bigger struggle to get into the playoffs in the West, to win the West. I mean, I would say the one team in any of this that I really wouldn't worry about doing anything, uh, I'm looking at them all as they could do a little something, something. Okay, let's just go down the list here and you see what you think. Okay, first of all, let's talk about the New Orleans Pelicans for a minute. Now, that's a
All
decent team
right.
in and of itself. But if we get a full, totally committed, healthy Zion Williamson on that squad for the whole season, the sky's the limit for them. Your thoughts, Hugh?
When you get a chance, you need to look at your phone on the MLB tip, man. Ain't looking too good for your boys, Philly. But for now, um, a healthy Zion is where it should be at right now, man. We are looking and seeing what he can do because that damn team, when they got the acquisitions over there, man, they're really decent. And when I see my man's when he's healthy, when we all see him, and he's one of the most dangerous players in the league, man. His average on like double doubles is impeccable. We can't count him out when he's healthy. But when is he healthy, man? When is he going to be healthy when them giving him all that money, man? I feel like when they got CJ McCollum over there, they got him because they wanted to have a healthy, Zion. And he hasn't been healthy. So I'm definitely hoping that that man can step up and be healthy, man. Because when you see him, that guy's, he's lost all that weight. He's chiseled and, but then, he still got the weak situations with them feet, man. I don't know what it is, but them feet, man, and like his lower core, man, has basically been an issue. But when you got a brother like him over there, and then you got my man's over there who's their little hustler, they engine it could, who when he plays at the top of his level, Jose Alvarado, man, I love that kid,
Absolutely.
man. People
I
sleep
love
on
that
him.
dude, man. You know I love that dude.
That dude's such a hustler, man. He can shoot. He's a hell of a defender, and he get under people's skin, man. He like a Rodman who can shoot real good, and that's not good for the NBA. But it's entertaining to see that man play. And Brandon Ingram is basically he doesn't force her over there, man. We didn't think when he was in the LA days that he was gonna come over there in that trade and really shine. Hell, I feel like he's doing better than Julius Randle, man, right now. All
I
in all,
agree.
because if one of them two get hurt, who's gonna suffer the most? The Pelicans, you know. But yeah, I just feel like that's a really good team, man. And people sleep on too. I forgot that he was over there, Nance Jr. He'll play his part when he need to. And I
Don't
like
forget about Jones on that squad. He's a good defender, and he's been having some nights from the 3-point line. Like I said, they got a lot of good players on that New Orleans squad. Like I
Jones.
said,
Yeah,
I can see them not making playoff. I can see them going as far as a 5th or 6th seed. It's so many. Like I said, it's hard to decide when you look at the West. There's so many teams that could kind of go either
yeah.
way based on a couple key factors.
And don't slip on Jonas Valanciunas, man. When he came from the Raptors, I really thought he was gonna make noise over there too, man. Damn, they loaded enough to where you love to play with their ass on 2K. That's one of them type of teams.
Right. Okay, another team that's you gotta kind of see where it's gonna go. Minnesota Timberwolves.
Minnesota, I just don't feel like they show me enough most times, man. What surprised the hell out of me too, like you end up getting Rudy Gobert to go over there to help out. And I was scratching my head at first, like, why did they got Cat and Rudy? But they didn't really do as much as I thought that they would, man. I felt like the Rudy didn't give enough defense or do enough to where Cat can cook or do whatever the hell they playing. But I do love Anthony Edwards, though, man. I like him and what he brings to the table, and he's still relatively young.
Yes, sir.
I like Kyle Anderson too. He one of them slower players who can still get the job done, though. Man, he's basically kind of like the old man on that team. But yeah, man, I really like what they got over there, man. But like I said, sometimes you just can't trust Rudy Gobert, man. And then sometimes Cat won't show up too, man. So I'm just hoping that them two step up their game. And I feel like Mike Conley need to be the leader over there too, and to basically get them boys to play. That's why you brought that veteran leadership over there. But I feel like you said, man, they can either go to the actual playoffs, or I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't make it and slip and be like a 9th seed and try to play in and wouldn't go in. And one person that surprised me over there too, who I didn't even know who was over there. I feel like though Philly got enough depth now that they was able to let him walk. I didn't know that they added Shake Middleton.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, Gobert, he's just been such a huge disappointment ever since he left Utah. I really, but like I said, when considering what Utah has, and we'll talk about them next, they could afford to let him go. I mean, he's a defender. As a big man, you would want him to score more. He's basically an old school NBA player in a new school NBA league. So it's starting to pass him back. It is. But the team that's up and coming that definitely got the better part of that deal is the Utah Jazz. Again, it's a good team over there. They got some very good pieces. In the East, they would definitely be in the playoffs. In the West, it's kind of a, we'll have to see. Remember, we thought that they was going to tank it on out last year for Wembanyama, but they had a plan that we didn't know about, and they messed around and made playoffs. So, what you thinking about Utah?
Damn, Lauri Markkanen, man. I definitely didn't think he would be that good. I really feel like when you say people need the breath of fresh air, that was basically we witnessed that with that kid and how good Absolutely. He was, and we didn't know that he had that much in him, man. Which surprised the hell out of most of us. That's all we really seen over there. When you had a dude like a Jordan Clarkson, and you had other pieces, Kelly. What's his name? Olynyk. You had some of them guys that you thinking that they were
favorites over there. It's a lot of good pieces on that squad, man.
Sexton, and man, they got a really nice young squad. At first, I thought when they got Sexton, I said, man, I just feel like that was a confirmation, or that was like a consolation prize to get him. But when you're seeing how well they played and emergence of Markkanen, and then you still have my man's that was over there too, Jordan Clarkson. But the thing that made this team even more dangerous now, them having John Collins come from the East, man. I was really scratching my head like, damn, that's when I felt like you might have thought too, Eden, is Atlanta trying to compete? Because I didn't know who John Collins was the one year, like maybe a couple years, like 2 and 3 years ago, when everybody was trying to get him in the draft. In the trade deadline, and I'm like, is that dude really this good? And then you see him playing, you like, damn, how come Atlanta's not doing more with him? And they did give him a pay raise, for, his efforts he put in that season. But I just didn't feel like he fit in with that team. So I feel like he would definitely fit in over here with Utah, because I don't know what it is about Utah, but the people they have over there, man, they got a plan for them, and they definitely make it work. So I'm definitely interested. It looks like they can definitely easily be in the top 5. Or they could be on the outside looking in the playing games. But I definitely feel like this year they will probably reach that pinnacle, and they'll be like a 4th or 5th seed, surprisingly.
I agree. Now, okay, we got to go here. Is the Uncle Drew Luka experiment going to work this year, Hugh, for Dallas? Yes or no?
They better hope it do, man, because I feel like they didn't really have enough time to really play and, get used to each other with those games, man. We automatically thought that it'll work, but Sometimes they just need time, man. And I feel like if they, once it gets to the NBA trade deadline and there's still like a funky record, like maybe a couple games or so over 500, I believe it'll be time to move on, man. If you can at least get me 10 games over 500 by the trade deadline, I say, well, it works enough to where they can try to keep that moving. But if they won't be over 500, comfortably, I believe it'll be time to let him go somewhere else, man. Because I feel like they looked at it like they over accelerated themselves after they screwed up with Bronson. They knew they messed up, and then that's how they tried to recover and like put a band-aid on it. But hopefully him and Luka can exist with each other. But what I was surprised with too, man, with that team, it's a really good lineup, man. But I was glad that Seth Curry went back over there with them too, man, because I felt like he had his better years when he played with them, and they gave him more of a chance.
But Brooklyn clearly couldn't find a role for him on a consistent basis.
I think that they definitely need to get rid of Tim Hardaway Jr. That dude, most times I see him in street clothes more than I do basketball clothes.
Tim Hardaway Jr. does have some very good nights. Some nights, I'd be hard. Like I said, if you were to get rid of him, you got to get some quality in return. I think on the right team, he would be a very good six man. Absolutely. Or at least a good
veteran. When you got that defense now coming from your boy Grant Williams, man, that defense going to help them when Boston got rid of some of their depth. I'm hoping that works out over there with him too. But I definitely like your boy Markieff Morris too, man. I like them dudes because they're real gritty, and that's why they lasted so long in the NBA. They got good defense, they gritty, they grab rebounds, they do all the dirty work on the inside. They so old school to me, man. They remind me of the 80s and 90s era, and that's why I still feel like they got a team to play with. But it's just something about Dallas, man. Like when you got a Dwight Powell and all them guys over there who have such potential, it's like they'll either be hurt most times or they don't produce up to their potential. I definitely feel like that can be a team that can easily be in the 6th seed, man, because they don't coexist with each other. But yeah, I feel like if this year, man, I wouldn't waste my time. And sometimes in the NBA, it's easier to let somebody chew up a contract. I'm pretty sure another team will step up and be happy to take on Kyrie Irving if things don't work out. But yeah, man, if he stick around and he play over there, though, man, they can easily be a 5th, maybe 6th seed. I don't really see much more higher because I don't think the chemistry is really there.
Bottom line, Dallas goes as far as the defense goes. When Dallas plays defense like they did last year, that's the record you end up with, plain and simple. Now, two of the teams that's probably not going to make the playoffs, let's be honest, but we definitely expect them to be better. Houston Rockets, San Antonio Spurs. Which one you want to talk about first? And with San Antonio, let's just go San Antonio. Because there's only really one thing to talk about. No. San Antonio will only be as good as ... Go ahead from there, you.
I feel like them getting a big man, Victor Wembanyama, that's really huge for them because that's one thing that we know for Greg Popovich, man. It seems like when he drafts big men, and he basically already had the base of the team then, and
Hold on, Hugh. I learned this a couple weeks ago from NBA TV. We will not call him Victor Wembanyama because it's a hard name for us to pronounce. From now on, here on the podcast, we will call him V-Dub. When we talk V-Dub, we're talking Victor Wembanyama, all right? So V-Dub. All right, go from there, Hugh.
He was a good addition to the team because I feel like he will help that team out as a big man. And like I said, Pop is really good with the big fellas. That's a pretty young team over there, man. I can't put everything on him really right now, but I still feel like they'll only play as good as he will. I definitely feel like they can win 25 to 30 games, but I don't believe that they'll be a playoff contender. They still got a long ways to go.
Agreed. Houston Rockets, your thoughts on them?
Houston, I feel like Houston brought a lot of veterans over there, man, and to get one of the better coaches over there, man, I think that was the biggest steal of anything for them to get Udoka.
Agreed.
But damn, man, they ended up acquiring their DeAndre Ayton, and then you already got Scoot Henderson in the draft, and I'm thinking that they was going to
Someone was detected at your front door
and just basically build off of what they had already. But then you add Malcolm Brogdon, you get Jeremy Grant back, and you just basically got enough guys over there to where you can compete. And the slap in the face out of all this is the fact that not only did you already have an okay team who was on the come up, and then Robert Williams over there for your debt too, man. And one thing
basically
we was questioning about Boston, like why would they give him up? But yeah, man, they got a pretty young team over there, man. But then you got some team, Pete. I think they'll probably.
So yeah, basically we didn't skip Houston and went straight to Portland on the discussion. But yeah, playoff team Portland, no, I don't think so. But definitely a team that's going to be interesting to watch. I would definitely agree to that. Now, here's the team I really don't know what to do with. Actually, two of them. First team, OKC. Remember, they actually made the play-in game last year. Are they going to be better, worse, in between? What do you think, Hugh?
I think they might be in between. Better, I'm not sure yet, man. I do like Shai Alexander, though, man. That dude's a beast. But I don't really feel like with this draft that they had, I think they overachieved, man. To be honest with you, I think they'll come back down to reality this year. But if they prove me wrong, I wouldn't give them nothing but the utmost respect. But I just don't really feel like that they will be able to repeat what they did last year because it wasn't a lot of household names over there. But when they did play, they played pretty good, man. And that was another team we thought was going to probably be in the top 3, top 4 of the draft picks, man. But it ain't really too many guys besides Shai Alexander. I do like my mans though. They came in from Gonzaga. Chet Holmgren, man. Hopefully he could. If he could stay healthy, that'd be pretty good, man. But
I'm really looking forward to seeing.
I do like the Williams though. I do.
Like I said, I'm really looking forward to Holmgren.
I think that them two will.
And like I said, when they play each other,
and I do like the Williams.
Oh, you talking about on the Oklahoma City spot? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. The other team I quite don't know what to do with, and you'll know why as soon as I mention the name, the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah, I'm trying to see how that's gonna mesh over there too myself. We got bad news too. If people didn't know, Steven Adams just got a surgery, or he's going to get a surgery. He's going to be out for the rest of the season.
Yeah,
I do like my man Desmond. I think that was one of the reasons they could afford to, let go of Brooks, man, because Desmond Bane wasn't getting the credit he get, man, and that dude was pretty good. And I told you that last year. I didn't really too much care for Brooks, man. They all loving Dylan Brooks, but he didn't bring nothing to the table. Just okay defense, but when they needed him the most, the dude didn't show up. But yeah, man, I do like Jaren Jackson, and I like some of the pieces they brought over there, Marcus Smart and Derrick Rose, to help out with that knucklehead on John Morant. But I'm just trying to figure out how that's going to work too, man. Because if Ja continued to be Ja, he could dismantle that team, or he might be out of the league. So hopefully he get himself together, because when he's one of the most explosive players that you can see. I love seeing that guy play, man. And I ain't even gonna lie to you. He usually makes the NBA that much more exciting. It's more exciting with him than without. So yeah, I definitely hope that he do well, and I hope
And
that
you
he
know,
can stay
I
playing.
do think Derrick Rose was a very good acquisition for them. I'm really hoping that whatever Derrick got left of the tank will come into play these first 20-25 games, so that when Ja does come back, they're not completely off the rails. They're actually close enough to make a good playoff push. But again, in terms of overall record, I really don't know what to make of them. Now, before we get to the big dogs, I got to talk about this team because I'm really looking forward to see how much more they progress this season. That would be the Sacramento Kings.
I really think they're going to be in the top of the argument of like one of the better teams, man. I wouldn't be surprised if they'd be 3 or 4 seed again because now they really caught me off guard. I know Shaq was happy because he got some ownership in that team, but I like the fact that they definitely got JaVale McGee over there too for one of the defenders. But damn, De'Aaron Fox, man, we knew he was good, but I didn't know he was that good. And Harrison Barnes ended up getting in the because of his leadership, man. But just a really good sound team over there, man. And Malik Monk really showed me more. That's what I was looking at, like, damn, Lakers, how do you let that dude walk? Because we all seen his potential, but as well as he played in that playoff series, and then you got Domantas Sabonis, man, it's just a really good sound team, man. I look at it like with the addition of JaVale McGee and to get that depth on the big man position, I still feel like when you got Alex Lynn over there, you know, doing damage too, man, they could easily be back in the top 3, 4 seed, man. I only think they're going to improve from here.
And don't forget another key component you forgot on that squad, Keegan Murray. I like that kid.
Yeah.
I like him a lot. I think in an ideal world, he is Wiggins, but with better shooting potential. I'm really liking him. And speaking of Andrew Wiggins, let's talk about his squad. When we get to talk about the big dogs, Golden State Warriors. What do you see out of them, Hugh?
I'm just trying to see where they added some more depth, man. You're going to add more depth onto that team. As far as the big man, that's going to be their Achilles heel right now. Kevin Looney is decent, but I still feel like they need more on that end because, you know, adding Chris Paul was actually decent because now you can have Steph be the shooting guard and you can have, you know, Clay be the small. But when I look at the roster,
don't forget they added Sarge from Houston on that squad, and if you remember him early on in his career, he definitely was a big man that showed you an interesting set of skills. I don't think he's the defender that they really need. Like I said, I really would be more comfortable if they somehow find a big man to put on that squad to go with everything else, particularly one that can score and rebound down low. But yeah, like I said, the key to Golden State will be their health. And already we got a problem with Draymond being hurt. But you got to figure, based on what we've seen the last few years, pretty much everybody in that starting lineup, with the exception of probably Wiggins, will spend some quality time on the disabled list. I mean, as much as we love the great Steph Curry, you know, the last few years, he has not been completely healthy himself.
But then I know they're glad to get Gary Payton back, though, man. That was a huge pickup for them. And I did remember, my man Sarek, too, when he was playing with Philly. He is actually pretty decent, big man. But I just want to know, does that, can you still compete with the bigger teams, though? Yeah, he's 6'10", but will he be able to, you know, mess around with AD and LeBron and them? Because I think that's what troubled them last year. They didn't have enough big men, and they didn't have enough, you know, weight and, you know, by the bucket, man. They basically backed them dudes down, and they, you know, basically bully balled Golden State. So, yeah, I want to see where their toughness is at, man. And do they have enough as far as the length on their team to definitely help them, you know, continue? Because every time you look at Golden State, when they're a healthy team, they're one of the more, like, dynamic and dangerous teams in the league. But yeah, man, they're getting older though, you know. I can see them making it like in like a 1 to 3 seed, but if they slip lower, man, that's where the problems are hit. But yeah, I still feel like they'll be okay, man, because you got enough in that starting lineup, man, to give any team fits. And then they got some pretty good depth on the bench too, which they didn't have before.
Right.
But yeah, man, they'll always be like, to come out the West. But then again, man, it's like they'll go as far as how healthy they be.
And I need players like Kuminga and Moody to step up on that squad. They've been there long enough. They've been in the league. It's time for them to upgrade, just like Jordan Poole did in year 3 and 4. It's time for them to step up and show that they're going to be key components on that squad. If they could do that, yeah, I can see them making a 3rd or 4th seed. If not, then it's probably more like 6 or 7. LA Clippers, plain and simple. It all depends on who is healthy and who is not. What's your thoughts, Hugh?
I agree, man. I can go short and sweet on this, man. They'll go as far as, my man's, Kawhi let him be, man. You know that dude, man. You know how Stephen A. Smith feel about that dude. He feel like that dude's stealing money himself. But yeah, they help to be a huge, key opponent to this team. But I still feel like they'll lurk around the 6th, 7th seed. I don't really trust that team's health because not only do you have him, you got Paul George who can't stay healthy most times. So yeah, man, I don't really think they'll be a big threat. We can move on to the next team.
All right, and again, Westbrook going to have to play some type of factor in that too. Okay, it boils down to the last couple teams. Of course, we got to talk about the team that will get talked about a lot once the season starts because that's how they like to do. And of course, will be the LA Lakers.
I feel like with the additions of Prince, and you end up getting a lot of other guys, man, in there to really step up, man. I was just really surprised, because Austin Reed already was a person who caught us off guard last year. We didn't think he was going to be as good, but then to get Cam Reddish, it was a head scratcher for your man to come back. D'Lo Russell, man, I was really surprised with that.
Yeah,
but I did.
They have made some good acquisitions on that squad, I would say.
Yeah, Gabe Vincent for one of them, and Christian Wood, and I feel like they did pretty good on that team, man. Because not only do you got your starters now, you got some respectable depth over there. But unfortunately, like we already said, man, we're gonna have a situation where LeBron gonna get hurt, and Lord knows we know AD gonna be hurt. So depends on how.
Like Mo Bamba.
Yeah, I'm gonna just go with the healthier that team will be, the more I feel like they'll be able to, go to a top seed or even compete in conference finals. NBA finals, man, I had to see, man. I feel like them injuries will shoot them in the foot. But I do like my man's too, man. Rua Hachimura, man. If he can stay healthy too and show us just a little bit of what he had last year, that's going to still be one of those top competing teams, man, and trying to come out the West.
And you got to mention I'm him in the mix. Don't forget about Austin Reeves. Definitely think he will be one of the key candidates for most improved player because he showed a lot of that last year. It's going to be some nice where I think Austin Reeves might mess around and hit y'all with 30. I really like how he stepped his game up at times. He just needs to do it more consistent. Like I said, the Lakers got a good squad. And I think it really depends on, like I said, those key people staying healthy and just how they play overall from night to night. Because the target always going to be on your back when you're with the Lakers. And then, of course, you got to talk about the NBA champs. That would be the Denver Nuggets.
The Nuggets, man, they still got a hell of a team over there. I feel like if they can stay healthy and do their job, they're going to always be able to compete because to keep Reggie Jackson was huge. And you already got Caldwell Pope and Aaron Gordon. And then, of course, the big man himself, Nikola Jokic. But then what surprised me, too, is they end up getting depth over there, too, with DeAndre Jordan. But that Jamal Murray, man, that team's going to be as good as he can be and how healthy he can stay, too, as well, man, because we've seen glimpses of greatness with him, but he got hurt the one year and he couldn't play like at the end of the season. Then he got hurt, and he was. Remember, when he got hurt that season, we thought that he would be back, but he didn't come back that whole season. And to play like he did last year, man, and for them to get a championship, that was my hats off to that brother. I was proud of them, man, and how they persevered and stepped their game up. But Michael Porter Jr., man, he's gonna have to step his game up a little bit more too, because they already have a really well-sound team. But the players who need to step up need to step up and keep them as champions, because you already know, even when you're a champion, you know you got that bullseye on your back, and everybody gonna want to give you their best. So I'm just hoping that they continue to strive and come with their best, because I still feel like that is the team to beat in the West.
I would agree. I say the one team that's going to give them trouble that we did not mention, because I think it's between Denver and them as to who will go to the finals in the West. That, of course, would be the Phoenix Suns.
That's where your man Grayson Allen landed too, man. He went over there to Phoenix, and them getting Brad Beal and Bol. They already had D Book, one of Michigan's finest.
Right on.
And then you got Kate. And then when like Aaron Gordon, like, damn, did y'all really need more weapons? Like, come on, man. That's a guy that people I feel like sleep on a lot. But I really feel like with them, man, it's gonna be really good, because this is the best I feel like as far as depth that Phoenix have, because after losing a lot of those pieces that they have, they didn't have the depth they had before, and that's how they got gas in the playoffs last year. But then you add what's his name, Yusuf Nurkic too. So man, not only do you got good depth, you got a lot of guys who can take over a game any day. And they had to repiece that team together, because at first we just thought that they were just going to get like just people and just try to develop them. But they said, hell no, we got to win now. And to have some of the pieces that they added, man, this is a win now situation for them. Hopefully that they can step up to the task. But like you said, man, it depends on how healthy they are too, because we start to notice after Kevin Durant had hurt his Achilles that time, man, he hasn't really been the same, as far as he's injured every year too now, and he'll be missing a substantial amount of games. So yeah, man, it depends on the health of those two teams, man, because I can definitely see one of them coming out and going to the NBA Finals.
I hear you. So that being said, Hugh, we got to start wrapping it up here. The finals, who we got?
Shit, I got Milwaukee and Denver.
And I myself, I'm gonna go with Phoenix and Boston. That's who I got for the finals. Who wins it? I'm not ready to go there yet. I'm gonna just go with that. I'll make that prediction once the time comes. Your MVP this year will be who, Hugh?
MVP, that's a good one. I believe that I'm gonna go with Dame this year, man. I feel like it had to be a surprise to everybody, but it would be.
Wow, that's quite a pick there, buddy. I'm sorry. When all is said and done, I think Jokic get a third one. I'm going with him again for MVP. And the question of the day is, does J-Dub, Mr. Wembanyama, does he win Rookie of the Year or not?
I definitely don't see nobody taking it from him.
I don't think he does, Hugh. I don't think he's going to be healthy long enough. And then, of course, you know the rule about having to play at least 65 games. I can see it to where Pop will figure a way to make that not happen if they get to not playing well early on. I'm actually going to go Scoot Henderson or one of the brothers Thompson for Rookie of the Year, particularly that brother that plays on the Pistons.
Okay.
I
wouldn't be surprised. That dude, he definitely He surprised me too. I remember you was like, he's now gonna be more of a defensive person like we need. No, he been showing you more offense than what you imagine.
Absolutely. So that being said, y'all, we are definitely looking forward to the NBA this season. Remember, folks, if you got specific teams you'd like for us to talk about, if you got specific players you want us to keep our eye on, please hit us up in the inbox. That either be in my inbox or, of course, the Guru. Before we head on out, please let them know, Hugh, where they can find you.
You guys can find me on Facebook, Sports Guru to you, and I'm Hoopy on Instagram. I actually have a link tree on there too, to where you can get to all of my, other projects I'm doing. I'm on Spotify and Anchor as well, and I'm Hugh.Lee6 on the TikTok. But I believe that I might drop another episode tomorrow too, talking about what was going on as far as the college and some of the college football results, because like everybody else, we did a special edition today on the show for basketball, but Wednesday we all pros.
Absolutely.
NFL.
Right. So definitely make sure you tune into the Big Buck Sports Report at its regular time for a regular edition on Wednesday, where we will talk NFL. And attention Lions fans, we got a special discussion we're gonna have with you guys in regards to what happened last week. But we'll talk about that when we get there. In the meanwhile, Hugh, thank you for checking in and letting us know what you think about this NBA. I know you'll be watching like I will as well. Until next time, y'all, this is the Big Buck Sports Report, the basketball edition. Play us out with one of them fast. Come on, flip on, put the fingers up, you. Yes, indeed, folks. That was the basketball preview featuring the Sports Guru. Hopefully you guys liked it. Again, as we said, if you have any particular teams or players that you want us to specifically keep an eye on and cover for the sports report, please let us know. You can hit us up in the inbox on our Facebook pages, as well as on my Instagram, which is EricHawk45, and the new Instagram specifically for Nighthawk Network, which is eNighthawk. That's ENIGHTHAWK. Also, tomorrow we will have the regular edition of the Big Buck Sports Report, where we will talk about NFL Week 7. Yeah, we definitely will talk about what happened with the Lions and, more importantly, the reactions thereof. We will also talk about the initial night of the NBA and what happened there. Talk a little hockey even, and perhaps set you up to have that discussion for next week, when we will preview, not so much in depth, but to a certain degree, the NCAA basketball season, as that will be starting pretty much in early November there. So again, thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate it. If you're watching the games, enjoy the games, and check out the pod later. We appreciate you all. We will try to rebroadcast this on the IG. For those of you who can only get to us on IG, we're going to start posting videos and such for you there. And until next time, we will see you tomorrow. Happy early birthday, Ro. Love you. And we'll talk to you soon. We out, people.